the last countdown, we took a look at just 7 of the most useless or pointless airsoft replicas out there. Stuff like super heavyweights that could have their jobs done a whole lot better by lighter weight, more nimble replicas, miniguns, and a few other little things. And you guys loved that video. 3,000 people subscribed since it went up. So yeah, 400,000 subscribers is a sure thing. And I thank you all for that. So with the help of G&G Armament, who are always sending me all sorts of awesome stuff to check out, and of course USAirsoft, where you can get the brand new USAirsoft patches and much more, we can show some love to a lot of people out there who make this game so great. Just be sure to tell me if you run any of the 7 most useful airsoft replicas in the comments down below. There's a lot of different replicas out there, some expensive, some cheap. But these are the ones that make the most sense to have in your team or in your own hands. When you find yourself in trouble on the field, these are the replicas you're happy to see on your side. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't want anyone to feel discouraged about anything that they love running. Go check out the last countdown to see how I really feel about people using whatever they want to enjoy the game of airsoft. As long as you're following the rules of the game and you're not being a jerk, then I don't care how you enjoy airsoft. And with that said, we're going to start off at number 7. These are the replicas that I need more of in my collection, and I'm sure several of you watching would say the same thing. But let me explain why I think CQB Legal Compact M4s are one of the most useful things to have around you. Picture this. You're on a field with minimum engagement distance rules, meaning you can't engage with someone if they're too close to you, if you're shooting above a certain feet per second limit. But now you have to storm a building that's been giving you problems the entire game. Then you realize you can't do anything with the rifle that you have. You don't have a sidearm either at the skirmish game. So what do? That's when someone with a short-barreled CQB Legal M4 runs in and clears everyone out for you. But why M4s in particular? Well, I know that you see them everywhere, and that a lot of other people think that they're overused. However, that's actually a benefit. Parts are everywhere for these, so if you need to fix yours, then you won't be looking too long for parts. Magazine compatibility with the majority of your team members is another great bonus, since several of them are probably running an M4 of some type as well. You can build an M4 as a high rate of fire setup, a precision long-range DMR, anything you want. The M4 is your oyster. Now you can dominate in close quarters with pretty much anything, but these replicas do it the easiest out of anything else that's not a sidearm. As long as you follow your field's engagement rules, if there are any, then you'll do great with a compact CQB Legal M4. But before you start typing down below of how great your Hi Capas and Glocks are, don't worry. You made the list too, but particularly, number 6 goes to Tokyo Marui compatible Glocks and Hi Capas. These are the top 2 most used pistol platforms across the line with the most aftermarket support. Done. I can just stop right there and everything would make sense. These are the M4s and AKs of sidearms. And you can hate it or love it, but if you make a G-Series pistol or Hi Capa that's not Tokyo Marui compatible, then it's going to get grilled by the community. These are inherently stellar close quarters choices with no shortage of parts available to them. If you need an extra magazine, you'll have choices. Do you want extended magazines or normal magazines? Do you want them green gas or CO2? Do you want Marui or WE or Armory Works? Like I said, you have many different choices. And the Glock in general is the Milsimmer's sidearm of choice. If you look at the Hi Capa, well, it's been the top dog at pretty much every CQB tournament that you can think of. I've seen $100 Glocks and Hi Capas, and I've seen multi-$1,000 custom-built masterpieces out of these. So if you asked me what pistol should you get, then you'll hear me recommend either of these. You can short stroke the slides for faster follow-up shots, HBA tap the magazines for consistent power output, get lighter parts, or just make them as personalized as you want. And after knowing that, there shouldn't be any questions about why so many companies put out their own Marui-compatible G-Series or Hi Capa pistols. They sell very well, they're easy to make, and their reputations just keep growing. At number 5, I gotta give it to Old Reliable, because every airsofter should have one in their collection. It's that one piece in your collection that refuses to go down. It doesn't have to be the most well-built or most realistic piece in your collection, but you don't care as long as it continues to work. You gotta love all the SEMA AKs that have been through some of the worst events, been dragged or dropped over and over, chunks of material might be falling off, but it still shoots and it still feeds. Some of them do look worse off than the Black Knight though.
You yellow bastard! Come back here and take what's coming to you!
But you still don't care what other people think about it. Good for you. I'm not forgetting about all the Gen 1 G&G combat machines either, that have been used hundreds of times by rentals who don't know much about airsoft yet. These replicas are usually really straightforward and easy for any beginner to pick up. Even as the years go on, they might go against any kind of logic. You might have used yours with an 11.1 LiPo battery, even though there's nothing stopping you from destroying the trigger contacts or stripping a piston. There's no MOSFETs, there's no ETUs in them, that kind of stuff. As for myself, I have a few replicas like these that I've used for 8 years at countless games, but they still work no matter what, and I've never replaced any parts in any of them. They just keep going. I do find it funny when somebody can use a $150 G&G combat machine and take out players rocking thousands of dollars of gear. They're not even trying hard, but they have the biggest smiles on their face after the game. I just love that kind of stuff. We all need a good old reliable piece in our collection. Maybe if you care to, you'll tell me what yours is in the comments down below. Normally it's the old G&Gs or SEMAs, and even a few JGs, but there's a lot more of them than that. But one type of replica that we need more of are the near silent but accurate non-blowback pistols. A category that's mostly dominated by one very important piece of airsoft history, the Tokyo Marui SOCOM Mark 23. I talk about this thing way too much, and I don't even own one. This is the sniper's second pick right after he gets himself a Marui VSR-10. And since they've been around for so long, the aftermarket has a lot of mods available for it. Technicians from all around the world have taken these things down to the bare screws thousands of times, trying to figure out how they can make them better. So go ahead and look up all the information online that you'll ever need about the Tokyo Marui Mark 23. You'll find a treasure trove of stuff. Nowadays, you might take 60, 70, or maybe even 100 shots for granted with a gas blowback pistol on a single gas fill. But the Mark 23 was doing over 100 shots years before we saw those kinds of numbers, thanks to its non-blowback nature. There are a few other pistols that can fit this role too. Maru's made a few options available, but non-blowbacks in general aren't really produced much anymore. So if the gas consumption is legendary, if the range that comes stock is beyond what you'd ever expect out of a blowback pistol, mods are bountiful, and it makes for a great combo with one of the greatest selling bolt actions ever made, then how could it not be on a list like this? You'll definitely get the hits that you want with one of these, one way or another, and they will never know where it came from.
As many of you know, the Tokyo Marui MK23 is my choice of sidearm in most of my videos, and for that reason, it's the first weapon I'm going to be reviewing in Airsoft A Closer Look.
In the pointless Airsoft Replicas countdown, I bummed out a few people by saying that revolvers are basically obsolete when compared to any normal gas blowback pistols that you see in the average player's hands. I love them, but I'm not gonna try taking any of my revolvers into a CQB game or to a big Milsim event and expect to slay. Well, let me make another hot take. I'd rather go with a precisely tuned semi-auto DMR than a bolt-action rifle. Now, don't get me wrong, I respect the hustle and skill that it takes to make one of these replicas reach 350 feet plus, and how quiet they can be. However, why should I go with a bolt action if a well-tuned SVD can get 350 feet as well, over and over again much faster with a lot more rounds in the magazine? It's not a matter of looks. Kar 98Ks? Those are great looking, just like a good SR25 or a Silverback SRS. And these two are drop dead gorgeous. Okay, but what happens if someone thinks that these are ugly?
We ask them politely yet firmly to leave.
I think the two big factors as to why I think semi-auto long-range DMRs are some of the most useful replicas is the fact that follow-up shots are as quick as you can pull the trigger, and that while a VSR-10 can have about 30 rounds in a magazine, you can have about 70 or 150 in a semi-auto's magazine. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know this kind of stuff. Now, some people will throw on a big scope and a bipod and call it a day. It's a DMR now. But I mean builds that have had a lot of work done to them on the inside. A lot of compression upgrades, barrel swaps, new buckings. It ain't cheap stuff, but neither are bolt action builds. That's one key thing that a lot of people that want to run a bolt action seem to forget. Yes, there is a lot less skill required when you can just spam a trigger. However, I will take that as long as it means that we can just waltz into areas that would have been cluttered in enemies, as the guy with an M14 or a 417 stays in the bushes and trees behind us. So to the semi-auto DMR folk out there that are picking off people with half the range that they do, thank you. I couldn't reach them myself. But now we move on to the last two picks for this list, which honestly make or break skirmish games or even big events. These two may be the most useful things to have in your squad, and you might take the game from easy mode to slutty easy mode if you use them right, or if you just spam them. So let's start off with anything that can launch a TagInn. A lot of people know exactly where I'm going to go with this. Oh, there's a group of guys that won't stop camping in this little stupid garage? Neither you or the enemies are close enough to get any hits with any of your primaries? Are you having to deal with that stupid technical driving around again? Do you have a lot of money to blow at an airsoft event and don't want to even bother skillfully clearing out a building? A person with anything that can launch one of these is a godsend. On the flip side, they can be also the most frustrating things to go against. They can be launched further than you can shoot, even with a well-tuned sniper rifle, and they do this.
Get wrecked!
You can literally pay to win. Now hear this. Anyone can be annoying by overusing anything, so I don't hate TagInn users. Now using 7 of them to get 2 guys out seems a little drastic, especially when they are already out by the second explosion. You can't be dumb with these either. You can really hurt yourself or other people around you if you're stupid enough. TagInns have a real fear factor to them that's hard to come by in a game filled with expensive toy guns. So for being able to completely flip a sure thing victory around with several ear-splitting bangs, the TagInn gets the runner-up spot easily. There is a lot more that could have been added to a list like this. In the hands of someone with enough skill, you can make a UK Arms RPG the best thing on the field. And because of that, I honestly want to make more highlight videos where I show off some of the greatest airsoft moments that people have on their cameras. And maybe, if you like that idea, then hit the like button down below of this video, or subscribe now if you haven't already. I think those kinds of videos are really fun to watch. On the other hand, if I had to go up against a whole squad of guys who are all using LMGs while I'm stuck with semi-auto, I'd probably quit the game. Now, I just talked about how easy it is to spam TagInns, but these are way easier to use, and much cheaper too. When you're at an event or a game that limits everyone besides support players to semi-auto only, one single LMG can keep everyone's heads down while your team can push up very easily. And the two that particularly do this the easiest would be the RPK and the M249 SAW. When you're the one rocking one of these, everyone wants you around. You're the only one who can spam full auto at everything that moves. That's some great power. That either gets you a lot of easy hits or helps your team rush enemies while they're occupied by your storm of BBs. Now, I singled out the RPK and the M249 simply for how easy they are to use and because of how supported they are on the market. The RPK is literally just a big AK, so all the AK magazines that you already have can be used with it, and if you need any parts at all, well, you have the second most used platform to take advantage of. And who out here hates using one of these? The M249 can use M4 magazines with some mixed results. However, it's the aftermarket parts that I care about. And besides, you're going to be using a box magazine, let's just be real here. You can get an A&K, you can get one of those featherweight polymer models for less than $250. There's the Classic Army, there's the GMP models. You've got options, is what I'm trying to get at. It might be a cheesy way to play the game, or just very, very annoying, I'll admit, but you can't say it's not effective. There's a sort of balancing act that Airsoft has to follow, just like with any FPS.
Hey,
just
what's
imagine playing Black Ops 2, but the entire enemy team has LSATs with target finders, and they're all throwing C4 around. And it's just you. None of your boys are online. That would get real annoying real fast, right? I always appreciate a good player who's willing to lug around a heavier replica if it means he's helping the team take ground, or even if he's just using it to live out some action hero fantasy. We all get caught up being serious with Airsoft at least once, so whatever helps you have fun sounds good to me. And if that means you're running around with an M60 with an M203 loaded with a TagInn and an M4 mag adapter connected to a Hi Capa in your holster, then just remember what I said earlier. As long as you're following the rules of the game and you're not being a jerk, then I don't care how you enjoy Airsoft. I hope with these past countdowns that I help a few people out there get a good idea of what's popular or what they should hold off on getting right away if they're just starting off. I have more lists planned for the future, and I want to make a countdown over 5 useless things that Airsofters buy, but we'll see how that turns out. I'm just happy that you watched this video. Feel free to tell me if you have something that I actually talked about in this video, or if I should have mentioned something else. I'm always reading comments, so expect to see me replying to people. But before I go, I also really want to thank all the new subscribers who found interest in my channel. I'm going for 400,000 subscribers right now, so it's been really awesome lately. I really can't wait to make more content for you all to enjoy, and I'll be sure to get onto that as soon as I finish this project. But until that next video drops from the city of Dallas, Texas, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time. Alright, so I just finished up the video, and I guess I should explain what's been going on because I've been gone for like 2 weeks. I had some personal family stuff I had to take care of, which resulted in me going to California for a couple days to clean out an apartment. And while I was there, I caught the sickness. I'm not sure if I can really say what it is anymore. I'm not sure if YouTube's still demonetizing videos that even mention it. But yeah, I've been pretty busy for the past 2 weeks, I guess, fighting the sickness, staying home, and then Haley caught it too. And now I have a whole bunch of work that's kind of stacked on. I wanted to get the countdown out, I wanted to start a giveaway, I wanted to start a $200 competition for the best airsoft clips. And then I also have, well, I mentioned I was doing the giveaway, so I've got an AK over here to give away for ENL on Instagram, and then I've got an AK-12 from Arcturus to go get some gameplay out of. This is the prototype version. Well, not prototype. Do y'all remember when I did a prototype that had like a Perun MOSFET in it and it had all these options? Well, it's actually now on the market, so I actually have one of those so I can put some gameplay video together for it. So now that I guess I'm fine, I still have it right now, the sickness, but I should be 100% like cleared in like 2 or 3 days. But I feel fine now. I've basically over all my symptoms, so I'm just trying to take it easy. But I guess without me going on forever here, I want to thank all the USAirsoft channel members that have been having their names go by the screen now. For everyone that's been giving me all the well wishes and giving me all their ideas for different videos I should work on in the future. As you can tell, I really don't have a script for this. I'm still kind of confused. It's just been pretty crazy the past few days, but I want to thank everyone for giving me some time to myself to take care of a bunch of stuff. But I guess I'll see y'all next time. And again, thank you to all the USAirsoft channel members. See y'all.